All right. Today is May 30th. So I'm a day early. This rarely happens. Day early, but not as much is happening tomorrow, so it's fine. May update. Let me look. I didn't prepare for this one at all. Not that I normally prepare much, but um, if you're new here, it's my just thoughts off the top of my head, sharing what's happened this month in my progress towards being um, in my progress in my music career here in Taiwan. So um, last month I mentioned a few things that were upcoming, and some things changed. But I'll just start there. I'll talk about that. This month in May, my band Electric Monk, one of my bands, we played a festival down in Tainan, and then we did a show in Taoyuan with our good friends Murder Hornet. That was an awesome, fun rock show, and we're very interested. We've been invited back, and we're excited to do it at some point, maybe later this year. So two good shows, and I do feel like our band Electric Monk has grown a lot. I actually feel like we sound pretty good now, whereas in the past it was just potential, and we really didn't sound. Our live sound was not where it needed to be. But now I'm pretty proud of the band, and I feel like if we continue to progress later this year, I can try to get us booked into places. Our guitarist is trying a lot too now, and I think, I think I'm actually excited to share our sound and share our shows, and so that's something that's kind of been a change. Anyway, so Electric Monk performed twice in May, and that was it for performances. But a lot of because I had one studio show that was supposed to be this week with Lily, and I mentioned this in last month. It's a new band. We were going to call ourselves Electric Queens, but for certain reasons I won't get into, we had to cancel that. Lily had to postpone it, and then now as she's postponing it, she's kind of changing the concept, and so I'm not going to be a part of that studio show. Having said that, I did finally get Lily to agree to perform our songs, so we're going to do that this weekend. It's a Project Maximus show. At least that's how it originally was intended to be, a Project Maximus show, with Mr. Bamboo Stick and with John as the sort of opening acts. And that's going to be June 1st, so this Sunday at Vinyl Decision. But unfortunately, some stuff has come up with John, and he had to cancel everything we had coming up this month. So I was able to find somebody to replace John for these shows, and his name is Joe, Taiwanese guy. He beatboxes and sings, so he's learned the songs, and we're gonna perform this Sunday. It's not. We had one good rehearsal, so it's really not. We're not ready really the way I'd want to be, but we've changed the concept of this show at Final Decision. So now it's an open mic, open jam with a few bands performing at the beginning, and that will be Lily. She's going to come. We'll do some of our songs and some of her originals as well, and then Axel's Mr. Bamboo Stick act will perform as well. He wants me to do a couple of songs too, so this is going to be like me again. Reminds me of that concert back in January at Rabbit Hole. But it's all right. I can handle it, especially it's a lower pressure kind of situation. It doesn't feel like a formal professional show in the most official way, but it's more like an open mic, and then we're gonna open with some performances, some mini sets. So Project Maximus will also play. We'll keep it low key. We'll just kind of maybe focus on the 5 or 6 songs that we know well. Well, in quotes. All right. So that's what's happening. I have a show June 1st, Project Maximus, then June 7th. Electric Monk is playing another festival down in Hsinchu. So we're going to travel again. But it should be a fun show. And like I said, I actually really like playing with Electric Monk now. Not to say that I disliked it before, but there's a noticeable difference. We're all much more. We have a much better energy about us, and I think the sound is good. It can still improve, but we've reached a point where it's acceptable, and then also with the new guitarist, he definitely brings a lot of energy. But not just to the stage, he also brings a lot of energy in behind the scenes because he's like heavily trying to promote it. He's really excited about it. He's an awesome guitarist, but he hasn't played in a band in like 5 or 6 years. So he's just super energized about doing it, and he's working really hard on sort of the promotion stuff and like networking, and so it's exciting to see. And having him do that just kind of re-energizes all of us. So. So I'm enjoying playing with Electric Monk. June 7th. And then the 14th is Project Maximus again. We're playing this bar in Sanchong, but I'm really excited about it because it's a different place than I normally ever go to. So it's going to be new blood, presumably a new crowd. And I'm excited to do that. And then June 21st is going to be my birthday show. I asked Murder Hornet, my best friends in the music scene here, Murder Hornet, to do a show with me for my birthday. So we are going to play at Rev Now, and that's going to be fun. And that'll wrap up year 2 of music in Taiwan. And so next month's update will be more significant, I think, more heavy. I will really reflect on the whole year and the whole journey so far in Taiwan. But I'm pretty happy. I mean, I think I naively thought that I'd be further along before I came to Taiwan. I didn't realize how much sort of groundwork I need to lay, foundation I would need to lay to be able to build to where I'm at right now. But I'm really happy with where I'm at now. So Project Maximus is going well. I think by the second and third shows next month, I will feel confident in where we are at. Similar to how I feel about Electric Monk now. Like, I feel like, okay, we sound pretty good. We can book places, and I can feel reasonably comfortable that we're going to present well when we go places. I'm working. I built my website in like a day. It's not a great site, but I finally just put something up because I needed to have a page that I could promote. And that's because I've been on a few podcasts. So I guess I'll segue into that. I am now part of 2 podcasts that are ongoing series that are following my journey. So kind of like what I'm doing here on YouTube, but nicer, more thought out conversations with hosts who really know how to talk to somebody and force me to be introspective and share my feelings, my thoughts truly on this path so far. And so the first one is called Taiwan Grooves. It's a radio host out of Radio Taiwan International. And the first 2 episodes, he chops them up into shorter episodes. So it was 1 episode, but it's part 1 and part 2. That came out this month. I thought it sounded really cool. I enjoyed listening to myself and observing how I felt about things at the time that we recorded a couple months ago. I'll put some links in the description for if you want to check out the podcast. And then I was also a guest on Asian America with Ken Fong, and I would say that's a pretty big deal. He runs a really nice show. He's had some major guests on. So I'm honored to be part of that. And the first episode will drop in 2 days. So I'll link to it as well, if I remember to. And Yeah, I'm very excited to hear what it sounds like. We recorded that one a month ago, I want to say, about a month ago. So we'll see how that comes out. And then he wants this. I'll be scheduling my second session to record with Taiwan Grooves in a few weeks. I'm going back to the studio, and then with Asian America, we're looking at in about a month and a half for me to record the second follow-up episode of our ongoing series. What is Max doing? So, all right, podcast. Oh yeah, and then I was also on my buddy Travis's podcast. Extra Pack of Peanuts is a pretty big travel podcast. At one time, he was like a top 10 travel podcast, but he slipped down the rankings. He took like an 8-9 month hiatus. So he's come back, and now the podcast has pivoted a bit more towards like investment in business conversations as well. So I was on there to talk about living in Taiwan and talk about the business that we're running. He wanted to talk some about music, but we didn't get to it. Having said that, because I'm on that podcast, we dropped my website, which I then felt like, okay, I need to actually have a website since I've told people that it exists. So that, and I had progress there. So all these things are kind of pushing me forward in some capacity. I know that the end of June till the end of August, I'm going to get very little done musically in terms of performance and practice. So I'm trying to carve out like a to-do list for those 2 months where I push forward on content creation, website, and some of the other things that I can handle when I'm not actively playing music. Now that being said, I am going into the studio in August, reuniting with my awesome producer from Florida. So we're going to record a couple songs, and that'll be exciting. I think without a doubt, it's always a lot of work. So I'm just kind of thinking, okay, I have to make sure I'm ready and we knock it out of the park. But having said that, I have supreme confidence that he's going to make it magic, and we're going to have 2 awesome tracks. So I just have to decide what songs I want to take into the studio. So I don't know. I normally have some skeleton sort of agenda what I want to talk about in the update, and I didn't do that today. We just went hiking. It's a holiday today, Dragon Boat, and we just went hiking, and then the kids and Kelly are gone. I had maybe like 15 minutes to get this recording done, so I just said I'm gonna do it now while they're not interrupting me. So my thoughts are a little scrambled. Talked about recording, talked about the shows coming up. Yeah, I guess I can think about what are all the musical projects. So Electric Monk, I'm happy with where it's at. Project Maximus, acoustic, I'm happy with where it's at. But I have to say that all of these shows that we're doing are the acoustic version of Project Maximus. And I feel like the full band is nowhere, like I'm almost I wouldn't say starting from scratch, but I'm not any further along than where I thought I should have been like 4 or 5 months ago. And let me explain that. So I'm not too pleased with where Project Maximus, the full band, is at. And it's almost like we're starting from scratch when I come back in the fall. Now we're not, because there's a lot of groundwork that has been laid. But the thing is, it's groundwork that I didn't know I needed to lay originally. And so I kind of feel like I haven't made a lot of progress. That said, if I truly, step back for a moment, I have made a lot of progress. These were important foundation blocks that needed to be laid. And so I do think that we're further along. When I come back in the fall, we'll be further along than we were last year. All right, but that being said, I think there's a ton of work still to do to get Project Maximus, the full band, ready for real shows and doing festivals and stuff. and putting our best foot forward. So yeah, I mean, the things that we've accomplished this year is that I feel like I now have 3 potential drummers who are all really good and can step in and it depends whether they want to do it and whether they have the time to do it. But at least I know that there are 3 guys who know my songs, supposedly like my music, and supposedly want to play with me in the right circumstances, and they can do it. So we'll go from there and we'll see what happens in the fall. And interestingly enough, all 3 of them are Taiwanese. So my drummer role for the full band, I feel like, is reasonably locked down now between these 3 people who are all Taiwanese. Bass, I have Nicolas. We have a few struggles working together. I think primarily it's the schedule. He's a really great bassist, but he's busy, and understandably, I think it's totally reasonable. He doesn't want to give a lot of his time when he doesn't need to. So that just causes certain problems for us, because obviously the ideal situation would be to have a guy who wants to play and who's available all the time and is willing to just like rehearse whenever we can rehearse and yada yada, kind of sacrifice his time. I know Nicolas can't do that, so, and it's totally understandable. So besides Nicolas, we have Aaron Connors, who I've never played with him, but he's a really great bassist. He has a great reputation, and he really likes my music and has offered his services. So we have that. I've met a guy named Mark, who I've never spoken to about this, but I think I would be more than happy to ask Mark to play as well. And the thing about Mark is he's a good friend of Axel's, so they already have a good rapport, a good relationship, and so yeah, I would consider Mark as well. So this is what I mean by foundation, is that I thought I'd just go in and find the right pieces, and then this is my band. And now I've come to realize in Taiwan, just due to the nature and circumstances of things, I really need to have a Rolodex of musicians who like my songs, will learn them, and can perform, and then just kind of fit the puzzle together as things are happening. That's unfortunately the way it works here, and so that's what I'm doing. But then we have Axel, who's a guitarist, and he's like the most important linchpin to all of this, because I have nobody as a backup for him. Now I have people that, now guitar is actually the role that would be easiest to fill. But having said that, Axel has put in a lot of work, and I have put in a lot of work with Axel for him to learn the music well. And I think that it'll be tough to replicate that. So I almost feel like Axel is not expendable piece at all. I don't know how to say that nicely. I'm just thinking of it from a business standpoint. Like, you like to have redundancies, but there's none with Axel. He's the man. So one, I need him to be healthy. He's had to cancel some stuff lately, just due to being under the weather. I mean, rehearsals and stuff, no shows. And he has also had technical issues oftentimes get in the way of us having an efficient rehearsal for the full band. So I want him to straighten those things out as we move forward. But yeah, Axel's great. So that's the situation with Project Maximus, the full band. What else has happened? And then we have Hive Mind, the saxophonist from Seattle, but that's just on hiatus until the saxophonist comes back. And I think we'll pick back up in the fall, in September, and I think we're gonna start scheduling shows. And I'm really excited about that. I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hive Mind is like such an important part of my musical portfolio, because it really, I get so much gratification out of it, like true gratification for, but it's like fulfillment, personal fulfillment, because it's like the right mix of fun, but then also I feel like genuinely artistically advanced. So I think this is good. Hive Mind is I need Hive Mind in my life to keep doing what I'm doing. Project Maximus very pop, Electric Monk very punk, and then Hive Mind is where I feel like I'm actually presenting something that's more thoughtful and artistic, but still fun. All right. Then I mentioned the stuff with Lily. So I'm glad. I don't know whether it's going to ever be a long-term thing or not, but I'm glad that the stuff that we worked on will finally, I'll be able to present it somewhere. So that's nice, because I think we've written 3 songs, and I think all 3 songs are pretty darn cool. I'd love to have recordings of them. Yeah. All right. Lily had mine. Bamboo Stick, I mentioned he's going to have me play. I like being a part of Axel's performances. I really like his songs. I think I can play them well, the songs that I know. So that's also an important piece. Like I only like doing it when I know I can hold my own and do what he wants me to do. So shoot. So, okay. Having said that, I gotta wrap this up. let's try to end this in like 2 minutes. So, are there any other projects I'm doing? I think I've covered them all, but I do want to say that I went to Red Room 2 days ago, and it was the most fun I've had at Red Room. It was the first time going in like 2 months, first of all, but it was so much fun. And I'm so glad that I went. And then I met this girl who sang and just was like crushing it. She's this tiny girl with a humongous voice. And so I went up to her afterwards and asked her, like, you sound great. I am a songwriter. I have a few songs that I think could be awesome. Can I share them with you and see what you think? So she said, sure. And then and I asked her how we can connect. I had IG on my phone open already. So she said, oh yeah, Instagram. And so I had her punch it in, and then I followed her. I didn't look at her Instagram. And then we just chatted for like 20 more seconds. And we were saying bye. She was like, really, send me those songs, okay? I was like, yeah, sure. Well, that's why I talked to you. I thought it was a little weird. And then I got home and I looked. I did not know she's famous. She's like hugely famous. So I just went up to like this famous singer and asked her to listen to my songs. And like, in my mind, I was like thinking, you're an up and coming singer. Maybe we can like help each other. I did not know it's more like the dynamic was more like, you're famous and I'm just hoping that I can pitch something to you. But she was really nice. And now I get why she was like, really, really send me the songs. Yeah, but that was a day and a half ago. She has not read my message yet where I sent her the songs. I wasn't left unread. I just am unread. Maybe I'm in her DMs and she has like hundreds of requests every day. I don't know. But yeah, I had no idea she was this famous singer here in Taiwan, although I think it looks like she's from Australia. But then, yeah, anyway, she's a celebrity. I saw her performing with to huge crowds, and she has like 600,000 followers on IG. So, okay. All right. Is there anything else? I think that might be it. Here I have this Electric Monk, Hive Mind, Bamboo Stick, songs with Lily. Yeah, that's it. Cool. I'm out yet. It's pretty much over, I think. Oh yeah. And I mentioned I was going to record Ruko Mayoni with John this month. We did record, but we didn't finish. We just recorded the guitars. That's it. And then so because of the situation with John, I don't know if I'm going to finish recording it or not. But if things settle down for him, then maybe maybe in June, I'll be able to go in and do like the piano and the vocals. And get like a nice acoustic recording. We'll see. But full band recording is definitely in my plan for Florida. So I think that will be one of the songs that I do is a full band version of Ruko Mayoni. All right, done. This went way too long. Sayonara. See y'all in a month. Peace.